Longer the beauty standard. White women are no longer the beauty standard.
A recent viral video sparked intense discussion after a woman argued that white women are no longer society's beauty standard and criticized historical and political systems that, in her view, gave them unearned privilege. Her comments quickly spread online, generating strong reactions from people who agreed, disagreed, or felt the topic was being oversimplified.
If we're going to dismantle white supremacy, we gotta start there. Because the white man has made himself God, Jesus, and then he made the white woman the ideal woman. White women, you have been put up on a pedestal that you did not earn. You have been put in a position that we are all supposed to aspire to be for no fucking reason. And that is why our society is the way it is right now. We're just talking women to women. We grew up thinking we're supposed to aspire to be you. But in this moment right now, you guys have proven to be the lowest of the low. And I'm talking about our election. Yes, we had the No Kings parade. We had all the ICE protests. And we all shined a light on the Hispanics, their wrong voting practices. But we really need to come back to y'all. We need to come back to y'all. A big reason why we're where we are right now is because white women were not on code, making all of us believe that you guys stood for something, that you guys stood for womanhood, for humanity. You guys making us believe you guys even care about your own reproductive rights. And when it came down to it, you voted against yourself again. You don't know what to do with the power that you've been given because you did not earn it. And so it has to be taken away until you work as hard as everybody else has to work to show up so we can make some change in this country. But you white women have been hiding behind this idea of being the beauty standard.
According to the speaker, beauty standards in Western culture were historically shaped by systems that favored whiteness. She argued that media, fashion, and entertainment industries long promoted white women as the ideal image of beauty, while women from other racial and ethnic backgrounds were often ignored or pressured to change their appearance to fit those standards.
You've been hiding behind that. This idea that you're submissive and you're small and you're tiny and you're weak and you're terrified and you're emotional and you just don't know what to do. Meanwhile, you're voting to kill us? So we can't trust you. You have no backbone. You're weak, you're submissive, and no matter what the fuck you guys are saying online, you're still male-centered because when it comes down to it, you vote against yourselves and you vote for the white man who we all know don't give a fuck about you no way. So you don't even know how to make good decisions. The one thing you guys fought for, the one thing you fought for was the women's suffrage movement. And 2 generations later, you voted away? You guys are telling us, don't, forget about slavery. You guys were not there during slavery. Don't connect to your ancestors. But you guys need to connect to your ancestors just so you know what you at least fought for.
In her view, this was never natural. It was created by social power and repeated representation. She also connected beauty standards to politics and social behavior.
You guys voted the one thing you guys fought for and showed up for, you voted it away for white men who would kill you at the drop of a dime? That's not beautiful, guys. That's not beautiful. You know what beauty is? Beauty is power and courage and strength. It's saying what you mean and meaning what you say. It's showing up when it counts. It's going against whatever systems are in place because you know that they are bad for you and everybody else. It's not crying when things go bad. It's sacrificing something.
The speaker claimed that many women outside that favored group were taught to admire and imitate a system that did not equally value them. She said true beauty should not be based only on physical appearance, but on courage, resilience, honesty, sacrifice, and strength. To support her argument, she pointed to women from immigrant, refugee, and working class backgrounds who overcome hardship, support families, and build better futures despite difficult circumstances.
It is the Indian girl that has to work nights at her mom's liquor store just so they can have a better life. It's the Hispanic girl that walked across Mexico for 2 months just to get to America to have a better life. It's the Cambodian girl whose entire family was murdered in the genocide, and she came to America for a better life because she's the only one left. It is the Sudanese refugee that saw her mom get killed in a refugee camp, but still came to America on her own to take her chances and live a better life. It is a black girl. It is the oldest daughter who saw her mom be a single mom and work nights and days being the mom and dad, and she decided to take her family's future and put it on her back and go out into the world and make something of herself. That is beauty. That is aspirational. That's something to become. Give me 3 reasons why white women are the beauty standard. 3 good reasons. Because being a brunette don't fucking cut it no more. Being a dirty blonde don't cut it. Being super emotional and crying doesn't fucking cut it. Not when the world is in shambles because of that shit. Everyone else is up here and white women are down here, and you're gonna stay down here until you work your way up, until we can trust you, until we know that you're gonna stand up no matter what. Estee Lauder, white women are no longer the beauty standard. L'Oreal, white women are no longer the beauty standard. Maybelline, white women are no longer the beauty standard. CoverGirl, white women are no longer the beauty standard. Find other people with better stories. Find other people. Because we don't want to see it no more. White women, if you want to join all of us, you are going to have to be consistent, be trustworthy, be honest, and decide, are you going to align yourselves with women and with humanity? Are you aligning yourself with white men? And if you align yourself with white men, we get it, but we know that you're weak as fuck. And until you guys show up powerful, courageous, strong, resilient, unbreakable, you are not a part of the beauty conversation the way you used to be.
She described those women as examples of real beauty because of their determination and character rather than appearance alone.
America has done a really good job as painting white women as these innocent and passive bystanders when it comes to the atrocities that have been committed against black people. We saw white men physically carrying out those murders and violent acts, but in reality, in most cases, it was white women that were the mastermind behind them. The rest of this video is going to be examples of times when white women were the masterminds behind these violent acts and murders. So trigger warning.
The second half of the discussion focused on history. The speaker criticized the common idea that only white men were responsible for racist systems in America. She argued that white women also benefited from those systems and, at times, participated in maintaining them. She referenced several historical incidents in which false accusations by white women led to violence or injustice against black individuals.
First, let's talk about the Rosewood Massacre. In 1923, a white woman named Fannie Taylor had an affair on her white husband with another white man. That white man beat and raped her, and instead of taking accountability for what she did, she blamed her attack on an innocent black man named Jesse Hunter. There was no evidence that he actually did it, and they could not find him. So they launched a manhunt in Rosewood. I'm going to read an article explaining the details of what happened. On January 2nd, a mob of white men kidnapped, tortured, and lynched Sam Carter, a black craftsman from Rosewood, on suspicion that he had helped Jesse Hunter escape. White men continued to terrorize Rosewood, searching for Mr. Hunter, and black residents armed themselves in defense. Late on the night of January 4th, a white posse fired into the home of black Rosewood resident Sylvester Carrier, whom they suspected of harboring Mr. Hunter, and killed an elderly woman. A gunfight between Mr. Carrier and the mob lasted into the early morning, killing people on both sides. Outraged that black residents had fought back, the posse left the scene to regroup and returned with more men. On January 5th, a mob of between 200 to 300 white men attacked Rosewood, killing an estimated 30 to 40 black men, women, and children on site, and burning the town to the ground. Black residents hid in the woods and fled by train to Gainesville, Florida, never to return. Survivors later recounted that Fannie Taylor had made false accusations against Jesse Hunter to conceal her extramarital affair with a white man. A whole successful black town destroyed because a white woman couldn't keep her legs closed and not cheat on her husband.
Examples mentioned included the case of Emmett Till, whose death became a major turning point in the civil rights movement. and the case of the Scottsboro Boys trials, where 9 Black teenagers were falsely accused and unjustly prosecuted.
Next is the story of Emmett Till. In the summer of 1955, 14-year-old African-American Emmett Till had gone on vacation from Chicago to visit family in Money, Mississippi. He was shopping at a store owned by Roy and Carolyn Bryant, and someone said he had possibly whistled at Mrs. Bryant, a white woman. At some point around August 28th, he was kidnapped, beaten, and pew-pewed in the head, had a large metal fan tied to his neck with barbed wire, and was thrown into the Tallahatchie River. His body was soon recovered and an investigation was opened. Roy Bryant and his half-brother Jay Millum were accused of the murder, and an all-white, all-male jury acquitted the both of them. In 2007, at age 72, she told Duke University senior research scholar Timothy Tyson that she had lied about Till having made verbal and physical advances on her. In a new book, The Blood of Emmett Till, Tyson writes that she told him, "Nothing that boy did could ever justify what happened to him." In 2007, a grand jury in Mississippi declined to indict the white woman who accused 14-year-old Emmett Till of making advances towards her nearly 70 years ago, allegations that led to the black teen's brutal death. Emmett Till never got justice. Next is the case of the Scottsboro Boys. On March 25, 1931, 9 black teenagers, Hayward Patterson, Clarence Norris, Charlie Weems, Olin Montgomery, Ozzie Powell, William Robertson, Eugene Williams, Roy Wright, and Andy Wright were riding a freight train through Alabama looking for work during the Great Depression. 2 white women, Victoria Price and Ruby Bates, were also on board. After an altercation between the black and white men on the train, the white woman accused the black teens of rape to avoid charges of illegally riding the train and possibly sex work. All white juries and rush trials resulted in 8 death sentences. The youngest, Roy Wright, was only 13 and got a mistrial. No physical evidence supported the accusations, and Ruby Bates later recanted, saying that no rape ever occurred. The Supreme Court overturned their convictions in 1932 due to ineffective counsel, a key factor in the case. The Scottsboro Boys were retried multiple times, and while 4 of them were eventually released, 5 others were convicted and sentenced to prison terms, including 1 death sentence that was later commuted to life. The state of Alabama eventually granted posthumous pardons to the 3 Scottsboro Boys who had not been pardoned or had their convictions overturned. I apologize if I have misspoken on this particular story, because the court cases and the hearings are very confusing to read because there were so many trials on these. So if I said anything wrong, please just correct me in the comments. Next is the story of Lena Baker. She worked for a white man named Ernest Knight, who was a local grist mill owner. Knight was abusive, sexually exploitive, and allegedly held Baker against her will, a dynamic that mirrored slavery. According to court testimony, Knight locked Baker in his grist mill for days at a time, and she said she was fearful for her life. On April 30th, 1944, Baker shot and killed Knight during a physical altercation, stating that it was in self-defense and that he tried to hit her with a metal bar. She immediately turned herself into police and explained everything. She was tried by an all-white, all-male jury. Her court-appointed lawyer did nothing in her defense and did not appeal her conviction. She was convicted of capital murder and sentenced to death by electrocution. Now, her abuser was a white man, but it was white women that had a huge role in her death. These women used their social capital as white women to push the myth of Baker being a sexual threat, a historical trope used to justify countless lynchings and execution. Her last words were, "What I done, I did in self-defense, or I would have been killed myself. Where I was, I could not overcome it. God has forgiven me. I have nothing against anyone. I picked cotton for Mr. Pritchett, and he has been good to me. I am ready to go. I am one in the number. I am ready to meet my God. I have a very strong conscience." In 2005, she was pardoned posthumously by the Georgia State Board of Pardons and Paroles. Next is the story of Susan Smith. In 1994, she murdered her own children, 3-year-old and 14-month-old sons, then falsely claimed a black man carjacked her and kidnapped them. An enormous manhunt targeted innocent black men. Her lie played on racial stereotypes and could have led to more deaths. She eventually confessed to the murders.
She used these examples to argue that racial power structures often relied on both men and women, not just one group.
2025, and white women are still calling the police on black people that are doing absolutely nothing to them. Walking, barbecuing, bird watching, sitting in a Starbucks, just existing. And they always say the same thing, I was scared. Now let's talk about the involvement of white women in slavery. When people think of slavery, a lot of people assume and visualize male slave owners, but there were a lot of white women that owned slaves. According to history.com, it's estimated that 40% of slave owners were white women. Martha Washington, who was George Washington's wife, was responsible for dramatically increasing the enslaved population in Mount Vernon. White women were active and violent participants in the slave market. They bought, sold, managed, and sought the return of enslaved people in whom they had a vested economic interest. Owning a large number of enslaved people made a woman a better marriage prospect. They Were Her Property, which is a book, appends a lot of older scholarship. For example, previous scholars have argued that most Southern white women didn't buy, sell, or inflict violence on enslaved people because this was considered improper for them. But Jones Rogers argues that white women were actually trained to participate from a very young age. In 2019, Gretchen Kell from UC Berkeley interviewed the author of They Were Her Property, Stephanie Jones Rogers. She was asked about the treatment of slaves by white women, slave owners, and this is what she said. The institution of slavery necessitated a culture of violence, and white women and girls were a part of this culture. In order to sustain the institution and to keep enslaved people in a state of near submission, violence and the threat of violence were vital. This culture of violence also created opportunities for some people to indulge their propensity towards sadism, and women were not immune to this. Women perpetrated acts of extreme violence against enslaved people for the same reasons that white men did.
However, critics of the video say the argument paints millions of people with one broad brush. The debate also raises an important question. What defines beauty today? In modern culture, beauty standards are changing faster than ever. Social media has increased visibility for many races, body types, skin tones, and cultural styles. Brands and entertainment companies now feature a wider range of people than in the past, though many argue there is still progress to be made. Ultimately, the viral speech reflects frustration about history, identity, and inequality. Some viewers saw it as powerful truth-telling. Others saw it as divisive generalization. Either way, it touched on a larger issue. Society is still debating who gets valued, who gets heard, and how past systems continue to shape the present. Whether people agree or disagree, one thing is clear. The conversation about beauty, race, privilege, and representation is far from over.
Dear white people, before I point out y'all bullshit, let me just say, I am 10% white, so where do I collect my privilege? Nah, I'm kidding, I'm black as fuck. I bet if I looked like you, my life would be less difficult. If that 10% white in me would appear just a little bit, I bet white cops would put out a taser first instead of a gun. I bet Karen wouldn't be so quick to dial 911. And I bet I wouldn't get hunted down while going for a run. Dear white people, yes, we're still pissed the fuck off about Emmett Till's death. So stop telling us to forget about slavery because it happened years ago while we're still laying our people to rest due to white cops kneeling on our necks. Dear white people, no, I am not angry, I'm pissed the fuck off because who do you think you are? Why does everything always have to be about you? Of course your life matters, but right now black lives matters too. So dear white people, we're going to continue to burn shit up, raise our voices and fight back. If you don't see the lack of injustice against us black and brown people, then you are the problem.
Dear white people, millions of poor white Americans in Appalachia struggling with poverty, white victims of police shootings that received little attention, white kids growing up in broken homes, addiction and violence. Is that considered white privilege? When talking about police killings, more unharmed white people are killed in raw numbers each year. Police brutality isn't only against black Americans. Tony Timper, white man, held down saying, "You are going to kill me." Daniel Shaver, unarmed white man, shot while crawling and crying. Kelly Thomas, homeless white man, beaten to death by police. Ryan Whitaker, shot within seconds of opening his door. That tells me the problem isn't just race, it's bad policing. White people did not burn things down. These cases did not spark nationwide riots, become household names, or get the media attention because it doesn't fit the narrative. You can acknowledge past injustice without assuming present intent. The system is not simply white versus black. Stop blaming an entire race. Start demanding better from bad individuals.
Thank you for
Process in
staying
Europe
tuned and thank you
sold
for
globally
being
at massive
part of
profit.
this great
America
community.
earned
And I hope
only a
you
few
all
fraction
enjoy
of the
those
values.
clips.
Now,
And I
things are
can
changing.
hear what Black
Countries like
lady was actually
Botswana,
trying to point out, as
Namibia,
it seems to be
Zimbabwe,
the same,
and
seems to be
DRC
the same
Congo
thing as
are
what
beginning to
the
see we
white
will not just
lady
export
was
raw
actually trying to
resources
say out.
anymore.
They're
Botswana approach
pointing out
reflects
at the
this
same
shift.
point, but
Local
in a different
beneficiation,
point of view and
processing mineral
in a
locally,
different
better negotiation terms
perspective.
on their
And as you can see
own
in the last clip,
terms,
the white lady, the
diversify
black
global partner.
lady
This
was
is why
actually saying
the
one
idea
or
of
two
buyer
things of
must
those
come in
of
is
things
powerful. It
that the
signals
the
something.
white
Control.
community always do
Botswana want to
that
have
doesn't feel
100% control
right
of their
about
own
skin
mineral
color, about race,
resources,
about ethnicity,
confidence,
about group, about
and
background.
independence.
That's
Right
exactly
now, the
what
world is changing.
is
The
happening
US wants
in
mineral.
this
China dominates
video.
supply
I
chain.
hope you enjoyed the
Europe is
clip.
trying to catch
See
up,
you in
and
the
in
next
Africa,
one.